Colleen Kelly, and this is Round Trip, your go-to podcast for unforgettable travel stories, top tips, and all the adventures that you've been waiting for. Today, we're partnering with Travel Wisconsin to talk about Greene County, North Central Wisconsin, and Kenosha. And as everybody knows, I love visiting Wisconsin. So I'm looking forward to chatting about some new regions. Well, today we have a very special guest who has been on our WLS radio show before, and we're going to talk about a place that I've never been, but it's been on my list, and it's Wisconsin. Noreen Rueckert is the director of Greene County Tourism, and I'm so excited to have you back on and talk all about this wonderful location. So, welcome, Noreen, and tell us a little bit about you.
So Greene County is just 2 hours from Chicago. So Colleen, you definitely need to get that into your weekend plan sometime. It's a great, perfect distance, reasonably priced, fun for a weekend getaway, and lots of green space in Greene County.
And shame on me for not getting up there because now it's on my list. I love going to Europe. It's very expensive to go there now. And I know that Greene County is known for their Swiss immigrants that immigrated there, and there's just so much going on from that perspective. Can you tell us a little bit about that with Greene County?
Sure. Well, I think it's kind of interesting. I've had a Swiss native tell me that New Glarus feels more Swissy than his home in Switzerland. So we're definitely, we've got that Swiss mode going on. It's very interesting. I think that the local heritage, even if you're not a Swiss descendant, it's kind of this cultural touchstone that we all share. We really do celebrate the Swissness of everything quite often with the architecture, the cuisine, and of course, a lot of the customs and entertainment. It's just a cool little place that you can go get away, little taste of Europe right here in the Midwest.
Right here in the Midwest. And, I did an episode in Switzerland, and this is actually true. I yodeled in Switzerland because you have to do that. But when we were driving around, my producer and I were like, this looks like an area of Wisconsin. And so literally, this must look like Switzerland. And plus, you've got all those wonderful things like the cheese. I'm obsessed with cheese. The architecture, I heard, is also Swiss. Can you tell us a little bit about the architecture and the food,
Yeah.
and everything else?
Yeah, a lot of the storefronts in New Glarus are very Swiss themed. People also have, here in the United States, we have counties. Well, in Switzerland, they have cantons. So kind of an area. So there's different canton shields, like kind of like a little flag or whatever. So a lot of people have those decorating their homes that show where they came from or where their ancestors are from. And then the Swiss chalet architecture, there's just a lot of Swiss touches, both inside and outside of the restaurants. So it's pretty cool that way. And definitely that really strong connection with Switzerland.
I love that. And also you've got cheese. I've heard about your cheese. What is it? Swiss, of course, you've got Swiss cheese, but it begins with an L.
Limburger cheese.
Takes it.
Yes.
Limburger cheese. Yes.
Limburger cheese.
Yes.
Yes. So, in the early days, people were making, because a lot of the cheese makers were of Swiss heritage, they were making what we think of as Swiss cheese, the kind it's sort of white. It's got the little holes in it, or maybe the bigger holes in it, which are actually called eyes, if you want the correct term.
Oh, never knew that.
Yeah. So they were making these big giant wheels of Swiss Emmentaler, but these days, Swiss cheese can refer to anything from Appenzeller to Gruyere to the Emmentaler and many other types of varieties. And those are named after the places in Switzerland where they originated from. And then, of course, we also do have Limburger cheese. And Monroe, Wisconsin is home to the only Limburger cheese producing factory in the entire United States. So,
wait, what?
Absolutely, yes. The only domestic production of Limburger takes place right here in Monroe. So we actually have T-shirts that we sell that say Limburger, the cheese that made Monroe famous, because it's a cool thing.
I didn't know that. So my father used to have Limburger in the refrigerator all the time. He was like obsessed with it.
Yes.
But is that the smelly cheese?
It is the smelly cheese. There's a bacteria that gets added to it that gives it, I like to call it distinctive, with the
That's a
stink
good word.
in quotes. Yeah, distinctive
Yeah.
smell. And we're home to Limburger cheese, and we're very proud of our Limburger cheese. And there's cool places where you can try it. You can, of course, go right to the factory and buy it, often from the cheese maker. He's like right there, ready to help you. And then there's
Oh.
fun places where you can get a Limburger cheese sandwich. And I like to it. I always tell people it's not my most favorite cheese, but the way that I do like it is with a little bit of like a tart cherry jam and maybe a pretzel or a very kind of more bland basic
Ooh.
cracker. And I think it's gives it that little bit of a dessert feeling, and I like that. I like dessert.
Okay,
I
my
like
father's 83, I'm gonna have to take him up there 'cause he still loves his Limburger cheese, and, he also still likes a beer every so often, and I know that you're known for your beer there, and it's something very special about New Glarus, correct?
Yes. Well, actually, we have two breweries, one in Monroe, one in New Glarus. And New Glarus, if you've heard about New Glarus at all, you're either going to think about Swissness or you're going to think about a very distinctive beer called Spotted Cow. And
Yes.
it is said, the lore says that the owners, Deb and Dan Carey, came up with the name. They were apparently visiting somewhere in Europe, and they're like, oh, they kept spotting sheep out on the, grazing or whatever. So here in Monroe and New Glarus in Greene County, you will spot cows. So spotted cow. And of course, it's
Oh,
perfect because it's a Holstein, and those are a spotted black and white cow very often.
that's very Wisconsin. Cows are kind of everywhere
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. And of course, in Greene County, you're also going to find a lot of the brown Swiss cows, and they do also play a pretty unique part in so many things that we do when we're celebrating here in Greene County.
Wow, so you've got beer and cheese, I think that's an awesome combination, but you also have festivals, and there's one called Cheese Days, which I heard is, like, every other year, so what why is that?
Well, it started in 1914, and it's held in exactly the same place right around the historic courthouse square in downtown Monroe, which is just a cool place to be because of the backdrop of the 1891 courthouse. Looks like very much like a little European downtown square. But since the 1970s, it's been held every other year. And we like to kind of say, like fine cheese, we like to let it age a bit. So there's the 2 year part of it. Goes every other year in the even years. And like I mentioned, those brown Swiss cows, they play a part in that. They lead the parade.
Oh, really? They do? Alright, so there's a whole connection here between the cows, the cheese, the beer, and the festivals. It sounds like so
Absolutely.
much fun. When are these festivals? Throughout summer, fall?
Well, there's a variety of festivals throughout the whole season. Cheese Days takes place every other year on the third weekend in September. But if you want to get in on that celebrating, New Glarus has an Oktoberfest at the end of September. Of course, we've got the Greene County Fair coming up in Monroe. And the William Tell Festival takes place over Labor Day weekend. Of course, that's very Swiss. The William Tell story gets
Yeah.
brought back to life, and so there's just a lot of very authentic festivals. For example, that Cheese Days parade with the cows leading the parade, it's was originally and still is kind of a nod to the herders bringing back the cows from the grazing season up in the Alpine mountains, at
Right.
the end. Yeah, at the end of the season. So it's celebrated here and in Switzerland, and maybe we do it better. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know, but
I
it's
bet
really
you
cool.
do.
It's really cool because you hear the bells ringing before you see the cows, and they're all decorated with their flowers, and everyone's wearing their Swiss
Oh.
outfits, and so it's kind of a magical moment. But my goal is to see that in Switzerland sometime.
Oh my gosh. So I did see that in Switzerland, and I that's all I wanted to see was the cows with the bells. So the fact
Yes.
that I can now go to Wisconsin and see that, that is incredible. It's so cute, and they're giant bells too that
They
they
are
wear.
big, big bells. Yes, yep. And actually, the goats also do that same thing. They bring the goats down, and excitingly, a little bit of a preview for next Cheese Days in next September. We're going to have a pretty strong goat presence as well, and they'll be wearing their bells as well. I know that from the past, though, sometimes the goats are kind of naughty, and we
Oh,
had some
yeah.
goats in a parade a while ago, and one of them was eating the flower crown off their their pulling partner. So the cows
Well
maybe are a little bit better behaved.
well, yeah, they'll eat anything, goats, that's what I've heard.
They love
Yeah,
to.
anything. Yeah, but those little competitions, you gotta give them their little star moment,
Yes,
I think.
absolutely.
Wow, so, okay, I'm gonna be coming up there in September, just so you know. That's when this is, correct? You said it was September?
Every other year in September. So this
Wait,
is an
so it's
off
not this
year.
year?
It's not this
Oh,
year, but it would be next year, and,
okay.
the town fills up, so you definitely need to plan ahead and, yeah, it's a good time. But
So
like I
maybe it's a
said,
good time that it is next year because I could get a
there you
hotel.
go. Plan ahead, yep, but lots of festivals really all season, so much live music, practically every
Oh,
restaurant, bar, pub has live music on the weekends. We've got 2 amazing wineries that have outside, stage areas, and you can overlook the vineyard. So there's some good stuff going on. I mean, not just the beer, but also the wine as well. And we've also got a distillery in town, or actually
oh,
in Glarus. So yeah.
really? Like, why would you even leave New Glarus? It sounds
I
like you have
don't know.
everything.
I don't know. It's all there.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, the other thing you have is, yodeling, right? I mean, what I just briefly read about this. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So yodeling, of course, is a Swiss tradition, as are playing of the Elbhorns. And the Elbhorns were originally to allow people to communicate from one mountain to the other because of the echoing in the background. But the yodeling has been part of the New Glarus tradition for since the 1840s when they first arrived. We currently have the New Glarus Yodel Club. They entertain, they perform, they're fun, fun, fun. They bring their friends to play the Elkhorn players. They also have, they call it, I can't remember the name of what it's actually called, but it's this, the art of flag throwing in Switzerland. So that kind of goes along to the music. We've got some younger kids who are learning how to do the flag throwing. We've also got a couple females now in the Elkhorn group too. So that's kind of nice that it's not just all men anymore.
Yeah,
But
girl power, we
yeah,
like that.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But we have a I like to call him the yodeling cheesemonger. There's a cheese store in Monroe called Alp and Dell, and it is attached to a cheese factory that is owned by folks in Switzerland called Emmy. In Wisconsin, we call it Emmy Roth. It's the Roth family was originally involved. So there's a gentleman who works there who's a Swiss native. His name is Tony Skragen, and he is a yodeler. And if you go in there, he will often throw out a yodel for you, and it's pretty cool, and it's definitely a unique thing. Where else are you going to find a yodeling cheesemonger other than in Greene County, Wisconsin?
I don't know where you would find one, but I guess there, you know?
Right there
That's so
in
cool.
Monroe.
Yeah, and that's kind of a tradition that they're keeping alive, which I think is incredible, to do that because like you said, where would you hear that besides maybe Switzerland? Um, yeah, wow. I need to work on my yodeling skills. I did it in the mountains, like I said, when I was in Switzerland. Now I'm gonna have to do it in, Greene County, but, I'm not a really good singer, so I did do you want me to do it for you really fast?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's really bad. Yodel-ay-hee-hoo. No, that's not good. That's about as good. I mean, I can
It
work on that.
works.
I'll work
It
on it for
works.
next year. Yeah,
Absolutely, and if
yeah.
you wanna come up and meet Tony, he could even give you a couple tips and maybe, like a quick yodeling lesson, and yeah, but
I
he's
think he's
super
gonna have to spend
super
a
friendly.
couple days with me with lessons because
He and
I obviously need some work here, but that's okay. It'd be a great 2 days for me, and maybe a little beer might help with the little yodel, you know?
it tends to, yeah, things can warm up a little bit, yes.
All right, so I'm gonna get signed up for next year for sure. I'm gonna put that on my list and get that hotel room, everyone, if you're thinking about next year going for cheese days, you gotta sign up now, right? Is it okay to sign up now, you think?
Actually, they kind of don't open the hotel rooms up till about a year in advance because it's
Um,
such a boom to get it done. But the
well,
cool thing is, I have people who tell me they have driven up from Chicago all 3 days just because they don't mind the drive back, so they're okay with making it a couple day trips, and maybe they might do a little bit in New Glarus as well as Monroe when they're at the festival.
yes, absolutely. I have friends that, come up even from Texas, up here to the Midwest because it's so hot in Texas during the summer,
True.
and we've got all the festivals up here, and you have, of course, cheese, beer, wine, yodeling, and cows with bells and goats with bells. So you kinda got ticks off the list, I think
All the fun
for
stuff.
everybody. But yeah, people come from all over, and, if you all are thinking of going, obviously now I wanna go more because I gotta wait a year before, to sign up for that hotel, but it's on my list for sure, and if anybody else out there is interested, put that on your calendar because this sounds like an incredible, fest, but you can go up anytime because you've got live music and you have all these wonderful things you can do regardless of the festivals.
Absolutely, and so many good things to eat.
So, Noreen, where can people find out more information, about Greene County, Wisconsin?
Go to the website, and this is so easy to remember. It's
Oh,
eatdrinkyodel.com.
well, there you go. That says it all right there, everybody. Eatdrinkyodo.com. Put that on your list for this year or next year. And Noreen, again, always a pleasure to have you. Now I'm going to be dreaming about cheese and beer and wine, so and yodeling.
It's good
I'm
drinks.
work on that for next year. I am.
They're very good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great having you. Next stop, we're going from beer, cheese, and spotted cows to North Central Wisconsin. And I'm here with Malorie Paine, who's a board member of North Central Wisconsin Tourism Partnership. I'm so excited to have you on the show, Mallory. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be back and chatting with you today.
Yeah, and my cousins all I think I told you before, my cousins all have cottages up there, and, I'm supposed to go up there soon. I always wait for their invitation to go up there because it's so beautiful and it's on the water. Can you tell me about the 9 counties that make up North Central Wisconsin and, what there is to do up there? Because there's a ton of things to do there.
So, North Central Wisconsin Tourism Partnership is a collaboration between 9 counties across North Central Wisconsin, and we are largely an outdoor recreation community as a whole, but definitely across the 9 counties. So, we represent Florence, Forest, Langlade, Lincoln, Marinette, Oconto, Portage, Shawano, and Wood County. And across all of those, there's some really unique, kind of one of a kind stops, but also, um, again, that outdoor recreation and our waterways and hiking trails and biking trails really unite us as one kind of collaborative region where our visitors can come and do a lot of similar things across the region that are, are just honestly so fun, especially for our kind of Chicago travelers to come up north a bit.
I love anything near water, so this is like the perfect spot. I'm a lake person and I like outdoors, and I think there's so much to do in terms of paddleboarding. So, what are some must experience waterways that you would suggest for kayaking, canoeing, or stand up paddleboarding?
Yeah, so I'm going to start with Oconto County. They actually have 58 different lakes and streams across the county, which is incredible. All of them are primed for, of course, canoeing, kayaking, paddleboarding, boating. It's just a wonderful area. Over in Wood County, we've got Lake Nepco and, of course, tons of waterways across the entire region. The Wisconsin River is shared throughout several counties. We've got the Plover River over in Portage County, and of course, access to the Wisconsin River there as well. But again, just across the entire region, there are so many different waterways and access points to all of the major waterways as well.
Wow, so I had no idea you had that many. I know that when I go up there with my cousins, like I said, they started with one cottage on a lake, and then as their family grew, they had to buy a couple more because they had more kids. But, we would go there and we would, go on their pontoon boats, and my dad loves fishing, so we would do the fishing portion, which was great because you actually could catch fish up there. Down in Chicago, not so much. But that was really awesome for them, and I would go with them when I was little too. But, all the activities that you can do, I had no idea that you had all those lakes. And do you know one of my favorite things too, Mallory, is up there, and I'm sure you see this every single day, we would go on, like, a little, I don't know, boat tour where it was like the sunset boat tour, so all of us would, like, grab a glass of
Oh,
wine or
so
whatever
fun.
and go off and see the sunset, and it was beautiful up there, just yeah, super fun. But now that I know that you've got 58, I've only done 1 lake, so I think I've got 57 more to go, possibly.
And that's just in Oconto County. That's not even including the entire region. There's just 58 lakes just in Oconto County. There are
Oh,
I don't
just
even
in
know the
one
number. I don't
county.
even know the exact number across the region, but it's an insane amount of water in north central Wisconsin. So it is a beautiful
Wow.
destination with so many ways to enjoy the sunset and different sunrise, sunset, all of the different scenic views that one could enjoy.
And a lot of places, I bet, to stay up there
Oh,
to,
absolutely.
stay overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. So many. Of course, we've got our hotels and our Airbnbs, but we also have tons of cabins on the lake. We've got so many camping opportunities across the region. Just honestly, anything that any person could want to enjoy from a stay standpoint can be found across north central Wisconsin.
Well, I love cabins, and, I did the RV thing once where you went to the campsites, and we were actually in Wisconsin. It was really cool because you can pull up your little RV and just, like, set up camp, basically, and, of course, it's so beautiful, and it was right near a lake, so it was awesome. So there's a lot of places to stay. Okay, but I also know, there's a few one-of-a-kind stops that visitors shouldn't miss, so I've heard.
Yeah, so across the north central Wisconsin region, we've got several one of a kind stops. Of course, the Mountain Fire Tower is one of the last remaining fire towers in the area or in the region as a whole. Uh, Down in Portage County, we also have the Food and Farm Exploration Center, which helps families and those who want to learn more about how their where their food comes from and how it's connected. They can actually go out in the field, so it keeps that outdoor kind of feel
Oh,
even when it's that educational experience. Um, that
I
said,
love that.
another kind of one of a kind or roadside attraction that Portage County has is the world's largest potato masher, and it stands 39 and a half feet
Wait
tall. It's
wait,
insane.
what?
The world's largest
What?
potato masher.
Okay, I didn't know there was one.
Yeah.
Wow, and where is this county? Where is this in?
Portage is the very start up 39 of the north central region. So if you're heading up north to any of our counties, well, actually we're right next to Wood County, but if you're heading up north to any of the north central region, definitely make sure to stop by the food
Ho
farm to get your picture made.
and how did that start, Mallory?
Um, the food and farm, it kind of is their arrival it's their arrival sculpture, and so it started in the plans kind of almost as a joke, and then I, their team kind of fell in love with the idea of having it, and so now it's what the first thing you see when you come into the area.
Oh, I bet tons of people take their picture in front of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so fun. I actually mashed potatoes because 'cause I'm Irish. It's one of my favorite things, but I think that'd be a little too big for me.
A little bit. It's pretty large.
Good for a photo, though. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
something else you have too is the farmers markets, and, I went up there and I went with my cousins to not only the farmers market, but I got a beautiful bracelet there because they've got some really cool flea markets there, and, I just thought it was really cool, really unique items that I've really not seen before.
Amazing. Yeah. Actually, in Portage County, the oldest farmers market in the state of Wisconsin is in Stevens Point. So that's, of course, a really fun summer activity to enjoy. And they go all the way through the fall for the outdoor. And then they have the Stevens Point Winners Farmer Market as well. But
Oh.
it's just such a neat experience to go downtown Stevens Point and experience. And um, there's so many vendors that come and set up there, so it's just really cool and historic, but also, of course, relevant today as well. So it's really cool to experience that.
Yeah, I love that when you can go to the farmer's market that's local, so all the food is really fresh, and then you go back to your cabin and cook it, which is really fun too. That's always a great way to, just kind of, and get involved with the community and support the community, but also, teach your kids, that this is where food comes from, not from the grocery
Absolutely.
store. Okay, so I've heard that you have a lot of ATV trails up there. Is that true?
It is true. So Langley County actually has over 106 miles of ATV and recreation trails. They're they have four main trails that are connected to the 100 that make up the 106 miles. They go through various roads and routes throughout Langley County. Wood County also has a huge ATV, UTV trail system with over 500 miles of connected trails. Portage
Wow.
and Wood also connect each other. And of course, up in Oconto County as well. Again, across the entire region, there are just hundreds of
That's a lot.
miles of ATV and UTV
Now
trails.
now do you have to bring your own ATV or can you rent up there? Is there a place to do that if you don't? Because I
That is
don't have one, but
great.
I love driving them.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't offhand know across the entire counties, but I do know that there are a couple of rental spaces over in the Wood County area. I would be happy to find out that information and let you know.
Okay, so on to after an ATV ride, I'm hungry. So I know you have those wonderful Wisconsin supper clubs and then fish fries, which my husband is obsessed with. What's the food like up there?
Of course, you can't come to Wisconsin without visiting a supper club. It is a traditional and it is a massive tradition in the North Central region. We've got several different supper clubs across the region that are absolute must visits. Of course, Sky Club Supper Club is down in the Plover area, and there are several others throughout the region as well.
So you can hit them all up if you want. Go to one every night, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You could make an entire trip just around the supper club visit too, in addition to just hitting up those trails. But you could absolutely make an entire itinerary around just visiting supper clubs.
I actually have a couple of friends that do that. They try to hit up like 3 or 4 supper clubs because 'cause they're, like, obsessed with, Wisconsin supper clubs. Because they're hard I mean, they're really mainly in Wisconsin from what I know. But getting back to that, so let's say you need a home base and you wanna hit these, supper clubs up. Where would be a good home base to explore all these different counties?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, starting anywhere within the region is going to get you to any of the other 9 counties. So I don't want to just say this is your starting home base because truly it's such a connected region that you could be in Langlade, you could be in Oconto, you could be in Florence or Forest, and you could get to any other area, or you could start in Wood or Portage and head up. So it really depends on kind of the visitor and how they're wanting to um, plan out their trip, whether they're doing the ATV, UTV trails, whether they're doing a supper club experience, or whether they're doing a mountain biking experience across the region. So it's all just it's so well connected throughout the region that anywhere you start, you're going to be able to get to any of the 9 counties.
So everything's pretty close by.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, so what's one activity or, like, destination that you think every visitor should experience when they come, if they have, like, a weekend or maybe a week to
Yeah.
spend?
Personally, I would say the Ice Age Trail is just so incredibly cool, and it runs through several of the counties. If you're into biking, hiking, walking, if you want to get out and enjoy nature, the Ice Age Trail is something that you just can't miss. It's prehistoric and
Yeah.
so just historically relevant even to today, to Wisconsin's landscape, to um, you know just in general, it's just such an amazing experience to have. And so for me, that's a can't miss.
You put that on your list.
Absolutely.
So, the Ice Age Trail, why is it called the Ice Age Trail?
The Ice Age Trail is a 1,000-mile footpath that traverses the length of Wisconsin from east to west, and it is one of only 11 national scenic trails in the United States, known for its glacial features.
Oh.
So the glaciers actually formed the Ice Age Trail, and that's what gives it
Oh.
its name. But it's such a cool experience because you're literally walking the same path that glaciers once moved down.
And dinosaurs. You're
Yeah,
probably walking the same path that they were on, right?
probably.
I think little kids would like that. Well, that's awesome. Okay, so we can't miss the Ice Age Trail. We can't miss the supper clubs, ATVing, fishing, of course, the lakes, and and my personal favorite, which is the sunset boat ride that we take
Yeah.
at the end of the day, which is lovely. Where can people find more information about North Central Wisconsin?
Yeah, northcentralwisconsin.com will get you a landing, kind of a landing page to all of the 9 counties. You can request information, find out the similarities between all of the counties, what resources they share, like the Wisconsin River, the Ice Age Trail, other shared resources, as well as those things that set each county apart too.
Wow, so when I go up there now and I see my cousins, I feel like so well informed. I I am now gonna tell them about the Ice Age Trail, which I'm sure they know because they have their cottages there. But maybe we'll do some more exploring, and, next time I'm gonna do the ATV. I didn't do that last year, so I'm gonna do that ATV. So thank you again for all this information. I learned so much, and, yeah, thinking about my next trip up there in a few weeks. So thanks for
Can't
that.
wait to have you.
We've got one more destination coming up, and you are gonna be so surprised. It's Kenosha, Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, they have a lot going on. But we're here with Meridith Jumisko, and she's a public relations director for Visit Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm so glad you're here, Meredith. There's so much going on in Kenosha, and it's like an hour and a half from where I live. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to hear you're a Wisconsin girl. We love that.
Yeah, I tend to just shoot up to Wisconsin. It's right there. It's beautiful in the summer and Kenosha. Now Kenosha is close to me, as I said, maybe an hour and a half, I think, from Chicago. Is that correct?
For sure, by the train, it's only 90 minutes.
Oh, so yeah, so 90 minutes by train with Chicago traffic, probably a little bit further. But let's talk about Kenosha, Wisconsin, because this is an international podcast, and a lot of people don't know where it is. So can you explain where Kenosha is for those that are like, wow, that sounds like a fun trip?
Yeah, we are a Wisconsin harbor town and we are in the southeast corner of the state on Lake Michigan. So we are ideally located between
Mm.
Chicago and Milwaukee. So we're right off the Interstate 94, which is also 41. And like I mentioned, we are the only Wisconsin stop actually on the Metro Union Pacific North line out of Chicago. So
Really?
depending on which train you take, if you take the more express one, it's about a 90-minute ride only.
Okay, so I take the train all the time into downtown Chicago because the traffic, everybody, is difficult to go to meetings. I had no idea it went to Kenosha because that is so much easier to take a train. I
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I
Just
might
head
hop up
north.
on there this weekend maybe. All right, so it's on the train line, so you can drive there, you can take the train. Tell us what there is to do in Kenosha.
Oh, there's so much to see and do. Either direction you take from the interstate, you head east, and about 7 miles, you will hit Lake Michigan. And right there, we have 4 beaches, and we actually also have downtown. And we have a very walkable downtown district, locally owned shops and restaurants. We pride ourselves on that. They're independently owned. And we have 5 museums downtown. We have art galleries. We have an axe throwing venue inside a bar. We have a comedy club, top bars, anything you can name, we have downtown, including hotels as well.
Wow, so you have 4 beaches, and what a lot of people don't know if you're, from another state or country, is that this is on Lake Michigan and there are no sharks there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Maybe men.
We have trout, we have salmon, but we don't have sharks. So yeah, there's a lot. We actually draw a lot of people here to Kenosha just for the lake, including from Iowa to go charter fishing because there's no Great Lakes out in Iowa. So we have charter fishing is huge. We have the highest catch per hour rate in Wisconsin. So it's trout and salmon. You go out on a charter boat. The captains will do the work for you. You can do as little or as much as you want, and they clean your catch for you, and you can even bring it to one of our local restaurants where they'll cook your catch for you for your lunch.
Oh, I've done that before where you catch it and then it's so fresh and they just make it right there. I
Yeah.
I didn't know this. I didn't know you did that up there. I'm the daughter of a fisherman. My
Oh,
father loved fishing, and, I've done the deep sea fishing, but I have not done it in Lake Michigan, so that sounds like so much fun, and, obviously, it's so close to my house, so No excuse not to go there. But, so there's a lot of things to do in Lake Michigan. There's the beaches if you just wanna hang out and get some sun or have a picnic. What can people find out about downtown Kenosha? Because there's so much to do there.
There is. We have a streetcar. I always say you cannot go to Kenosha without riding the electric streetcar. We have an authentic system with 1940s, 1950s streetcars that travel through downtown. They go along the lakefront. They go along the sculpture walk harbor park that we have with at least a dozen sculptures are always on display there. And we have 5 museums that are each unique and each have their own following. We have the Kenosha Public Museum that talks about some famous mammoths that were excavated right here in Kenosha County that rewrote science books, showed that people lived here earlier than what was thought. And we have the Dinosaur Discovery Museum. There you learn that dinosaurs are still among us today, but in the form of birds. So that's really cool. It's a nice small museum, perfect size for families. And we have the Civil War Museum. Yes, we have one here in Kenosha. It talks about how,
What?
yes,
Wait,
we have one.
really?
Yes, talks
Really?
about how the upper middle west states, as they were known at the time, how they contributed to the war effort. And actually, the broadcast journalist Bill Curtis is the narrator of a really cool film that's shown there once an hour inside the museum. It's a 360-degree style movie. We're one of only a handful of places in the country that have that style. And it kind of puts you in the middle of the war effort. It's called Seeing the Elephant.
Oh
And then,
my gosh. Well, Bill Curtis is famous, so if you've got him doing your narration, I mean, that's incredible.
yeah,
Wow.
he came to the
So
premiere.
he did? I love him. Everybody loves Bill Curtis. I mean, who doesn't, right? So the Civil War Museum, and he narrates it, and you were just telling me about another one. It was a history or
Yes, the
his
Kenosha History Center. Yes, we have Kenosha was long known as an auto manufacturing town. For 108 years, we had either auto manufacturing or engine assembly here. And we actually celebrated that last month with a huge car show that happens every 3 years. And that's all thanks to the Kenosha History Center. So they are the keepers of all that history and they have cars on display there. It's really cool. They also run the Southport Light Station Museum next door. And that is seasonal, May through October, and you can climb the lighthouse. We have 2 lighthouses here, and the Southport Lighthouse you can climb. You get to the top, incredible view. On a very clear day, you can see the Chicago skyline, just like you can from a couple places along the lakefront as well.
Oh my gosh. So I live, again, as we all know, an hour and a half from here, and I had no idea, truly, that you had all this going on in Kenosha. I mean, I've heard about Kenosha. I've heard great things from friends that have visited there, but I didn't know you had all these museums, and then the lighthouse thing is fun. But also the connection with the dinosaurs, because especially if you have little kids, I mean, that's like an obsession for some of my friends that have younger kids. Dinosaurs, especially, yeah, boys, girls, everything. But, so okay, so much to do, and the streetcar was fascinating to me because do you just jump on it and jump off, or how does that work with the streetcar?
Yeah, there's stops along the way. They're marked at the intersections, and you pay each time you get on. But it's really cool. They have a lot of free days. We help sponsor actually during events. It's a huge, huge
Mm.
form of transportation because we have so many events at the lakefront. You can park further away and the parking ramp, street parking. It's all free parking downtown. And then you hop on the streetcar. So it only costs like $1 for adults to ride it. And they're so colorful for cities that once had this streetcar transportation. So it's really about keeping the legacy going. And we're actually one of the first cities to bring streetcars back. And actually, other cities around the world have looked at Kenosha as kind of the model of how to do that. So it's
Wow, and it's $1. Did you say
yeah,
$1?
yes,
Okay, and did you say free parking? Because I don't know that word in Chicago. Is
yeah,
that
just
is that a thing?
parking.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of
Oh
street
my
parking,
gosh.
public parking lots. The beaches have lots. The parks have their own parking lots. So yeah, it's a great place and very walkable. Like I said, you park in one spot, or if you take the train up, you can then hop on the streetcar, get to downtown. It's all right there.
Can I move there and do my podcast from there? Because
Definitely,
street parking, I mean, you seem to have, like, everything, you know.
we welcome you. You can do it from the beach with the view of the lake.
Actually, I think that would be much better than The Office for sure. Okay, now we've talked about that. Also, you were mentioning events. You have a lot of events in the summer, which I know of one very famous one, which I have been to, the Bristol Renaissance Fair, but also in fall too.
Yes, yes. We kind of we have events all year long. We've really grown in events. No matter the season, we have something going on. Summertime events are still going on. Labor Day weekend, we always have the Kenosha Classic Cruisin' happening that Saturday. People come from throughout the region with their classic cars, fill downtown with them. Obviously, since we're an auto manufacturing town, car shows and cruisins are very, very big here in Kenosha. And going into the fall, of course, we have Oktoberfest events. We have hold them in September here. Lots of different places hold them. We have a couple outdoor beer gardens that host Oktoberfest events. There's even a flannel fest in October. Just all
Wait,
sorts.
wait. Sorry, what did you
Yeah,
I love
the
Oktoberfest. I love a good Oktoberfest 'cause, I know I just always do, but a flannel fest, I have not heard of that yet.
Yeah, Petrifying Springs Beer Garden. They join up with Jockey. We're the global headquarters for Jockey, and they put on this flannel fest. You wear your best flannel. They have an undies run as part of that. You wear
Oh, no.
your
Wait,
you
what?
you have to wear Jockey. You wear your underwear over your pants.
Is Jockey are they there? Is that their
Yeah,
headquarters?
we are
Okay.
the global headquarters. We have two Jockey stores here, and their offices are here. So yeah, they do this flannel fest. They have lumberjack shows. It's a big thing, and usually in early October it is at Petrifying Springs Park.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I had no idea. I do have flannel, and I have jockeys, but I wouldn't be running around in those, so I'd wear them under the flannel. Okay,
Yeah.
tell me more, because I know you've got some raceway too, and oh gosh, some water shows?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about east of the interstate, but when you go west of the interstate, or as the locals call it, it's west of the eye. There's so much going on. We have award-winning Aquanet water ski shows that run from Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day weekend on most Wednesday and Saturday evenings. So it's incredible what they can do. We have dozens of inland lakes besides Lake Michigan. So they're on Lake Mary out in Twin Lakes. We have the Wilmot Raceway that has dirt track races there throughout the summer from May into September. They're out at the Kenosha County Fairgrounds. And then, of course, like we mentioned, Bristol Renaissance Fair. They are award winning. You can go dressed in costume however you like out at the fair. You can be one with the performers. It's really a lot of fun. They have stage shows, they have strolling performers, incredible food. They're known for their gigantic turkey legs, but they have a full menu of available of food, and it's just a lot of fun. People go there, get season passes, I think, even go the whole season. So that's really one of our large attractions in Kenosha County.
And I have been to the Bristol Renaissance Fair, and what I loved about it is that the people played along with you. So when
Oh,
you went there, like, the characters were kind of walking among you and talking to you like you were there at that
yeah,
Renaissance time. It was fun,
yeah,
and they were all I think they're all actors, so they were just, like, super fun and really interactive, and I love that. I think I went every year for, like, years to the Bristol
yeah,
Renaissance Fair. Yeah, but now I'm, like, realizing I must have to go back, and maybe I'll go in costume. 'Cause that would be fun. But it sounds like you also have things for teenagers because you mentioned the dirt bike. Is that
dirt. Yeah, it's car
I mean, it
races.
could be for adults too, but yeah.
Yeah, car races you can go and watch out at Wilmot Raceway. It's very popular. They also have a monster
Okay.
truck event there every summer and a rodeo, all sorts of different things to really activate the fairgrounds out there. And we have a flea market that's out there too. I should mention
Oh,
our markets. We have two markets downtown Kenosha. Year round, actually, they go, and this time of year they're outdoors. So huge farmer markets downtown Kenosha and right along the lakefront that bring in a lot of people. They sell, of course, the food, prepared foods, vegetables, fruits, you name it, flowers, plants, arts and crafts. Lots and lots of different goodies can be found at the market every Saturday.
and you have all those fresh, the fresh corn and all the fresh
Yeah.
food in summertime for Wisconsin, and I love the idea that you can go to the like, this is what I like to do, is go to the farmer's market and maybe go back to a place that you rented or a place that you have a little kitchen and cook something, or just, grab some fresh fruit and bring it back to your, room, and so in terms of speaking of that, where you stay, where can people stay in Kenosha
Yeah,
County?
We have lodging all around. Of course, we have a lot right out at the interstate and Highway 50. And then we also have a number of places downtown. We have a hotel with the view of the lake. We have a full service hotel that even has a rooftop bar. We have
Oh.
boutique hotel that you can even rent out. It has a few rooms you can rent out for a wedding party or something. That's the Apis attached to their restaurant. So lots of different options we have. And of course, we also have camping. The Kenosha County Fairgrounds now has campgrounds there. And then we have camping at Richard Long State Recreation Area as well.
So you've got camping if that's what you like, or you've got the nice hotel with the rooftop, or you have the hotel where you're like, I just want to lay my head in a bed and just be out doing all these activities.
Yeah,
So a lot of a lot of places for people to stay.
that is right.
What are some okay, I always ask this question. Well, I don't know if I always ask this, but what are like some secrets about Kenosha maybe you can tell us, or some insider scoops? I don't know, like
Mm.
maybe people don't know about. About most of the things you've told me about, I didn't know about. I'm so excited.
Well, do you know the actor Mark Ruffalo is from Kenosha? That's one of the fun facts we have.
No, Mark
Yes.
Ruffalo, like
Yeah.
the big actor. He's
Yes.
from Kenosha.
He
Oh, can we see his house?
I know. We really need one of those tours, Hollywood homes going on.
Oh
We should
yeah, they
start
did that with the Pope in Chicago.
Yes.
They're taking his home,
Oh,
and I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but apparently, the city is gonna, people wanna see it. So, yeah, that could be another tourist attraction 'cause he's just a small actor, not really.
we also have Orson Welles was from Kenosha, so there is actually a plaque outside his
Oh,
home where he was born. He lived like the first few years of his life here. But yeah, we have a lot of historic districts that show a lot of history and the architecture throughout the years. That's really special that we've preserved that history that so that people can appreciate it. Of course, we are known for such places as like Frank's Diner that has their famous garbage plate that you can have. Tanuta's Deli is a big one with locals.
mhm.
We always hear if people move away, if they come back at Christmas time or something, they always have to go to Tanuta's Deli. That's the place to
I
go.
Is that an Italian or what kind of deli is that?
Yeah, it's
Why do
Italian.
they have to go there?
Yeah, it's an old world Italian setting. So they got the cannoli there. They have the outdoor grill going in the summertime with their homemade Italian sausage. So it's just really, we have a lot of different cultures merged together here in Kenosha, but Italian was like a huge one. There's actually going to be a first time Kenosha Italian Fest here in September this
Okay,
year.
when is that? What
Yeah,
day?
it's about September
I'm
20th, I think, around that weekend.
September 20th. Okay, I'm gonna write that down because I'm obsessed with Italian, anything Italian, and I love those delis. There's a deli around here too that people just, like, line up to go to, and it's just old world, and it looks old world, and it's fantastic. Okay, so that's September 20th.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, your your job must be very busy 'cause
It
you've got a
is, and
lot of events.
I actually keep track of our events calendar, so there is a lot of events always going on, and we're always looking ahead. I mean, we have Restaurant Week always the end of February that we put on in Kenosha. That's what people may not realize what incredible dining scene we have. It's really evolved the last few years, and we have all sorts of different cuisine. Of course, we've always had Italian, but we have Chinese. Indian, Mexican, all sorts of different and just different style places. We still have supper clubs, we have the diners, we have drive-ins still where they bring your food out to you in your car.
No, no, this
Yeah,
is too much for me. A drive-in? I don't know where to go for a drive. I didn't know I mean, I know there's a few. Wow.
yeah, we have a couple of them. I mean, they're not on roller skates, but they come out.
Oh,
One is actually open year round. They only close like maybe on the very, very most coldest days, but they year round. And another one always opens like late February. So basically, it's the first sign of spring when Big Star
oh,
Drive-In reopens. So
yeah, do people, like, hide in the trunk? 'Cause that back in the day used to do that, that was so bad. Just to save $3. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
hopefully not these days. But there's so much to do there. Now, if somebody says, "Okay, I can drive there to Kenosha, Wisconsin," that's pretty easy, but can they fly into Milwaukee, or if they're flying from somewhere else, how do they get there?
Definitely, yes. Milwaukee or Chicago. There's even buses that will bring you. I know the Brat Stop's a bus stop for if you go to O'Hare, you can get a bus from the Brat Stop. We also have an airport in Kenosha, but it's more like it's not so much commercial flights there. But yeah, it's definitely by plane you can come. You can even come by boat. We have 2 marinas here in Kenosha, and of course by car and by train.
All right, so there's no excuse not to go to Kenosha because you can get there, everybody, by plane, train, and automobile, as they say. Where can
Yeah.
people find more information about Visit Kenosha, Wisconsin, Meredith?
And you can go to our website at visitkenosha.com. We have a huge events calendar. We have a blog. We have a ton of business listings. And again, we're the place to go to shop local, play local, dine local. It's all about our locally owned businesses here.
Okay, well, September 20th is Italian Fest. Are there any hotels left? Probably.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Book your hotel now. It's actually both days. It's that Saturday and Sunday. So I think the 20th, 21st.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here. I learned so much about Kenosha, and I am gonna, I think, take a weekend there. I mean, I'm right here, so an hour and a half, but I'm gonna take the train.
All
I'm gonna
right.
take the train. Yeah, much easier. But this is great. Thank you for joining us, and yeah, just enjoy your summer. I hope you get some sleep with all the events that you have got going on in
Thank you.
between.
Enjoy your visit to Kenosha.
Thanks for listening to Round Trip. For more inspiration, follow us on @RoundTripColleenKelly on all socials. You can also visit roundtripcolleenkelly.com for more information and travel articles. And if you'd like to get in touch, you can reach us at roundtripcolleenkelly@gmail.com. And finally, if you like what you hear, please follow us and leave us a comment here as you listen.